Hello, welcome back to the Chromecast at the Rising Moon. Hey guys, today I have a really fun pick a card for you. It is what goddesses are available to you and what are they trying to help you with. This is about goddess energy, the feminine divine. What can it help you manifest in your life? What is it trying to help you heal? What are the deities that you should be calling out to in order to hasten that process and to get the results that you're hoping for? I have 3 piles and a pick a card. Take a moment, see which one really calls out to you, kind of stands out to you. Breathe in, breathe out, open your eyes. The one that kind of stands out a little bit to you, that's the reading that you're most meant to receive. It is unlikely to be one of those readings that more than one pile will apply. But if you feel called to it, by all means, feel free. Take a moment, concentrate, and I'll see you at the time of your reading. Welcome back. Hey, if you chose pile number 1, this is your reading. We're going to put the number 1 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their reading. The Dragon's Tarot, which dragons are all about like personal power. They're very deeply connected to our ancestors. One of the things I want to explain about the idea of looking for the feminine divine or the goddess energy that is trying to assist you in your journey is that, as a, for instance, if I identify, say, Lakshmi as the goddess that might be in the cards, then remember the corresponding abundance goddess in a belief system that you already ascribe to may be the one that you wish to call upon, because they all date back to the same energy. They're all the same universal energy, just different belief systems approach them through different rituals and through different names. So keep that part in mind. There we go. Let's see, and I don't know which goddesses are going to be showing up, but it seems like one of the ones for abundance is going to be pretty, because we're all seeking more enjoyment in life, that feeling of plenty, that feeling of belonging. Let's get going here for pile number 1. Which goddesses surround pile number 1? What are they trying to help pile number 1 achieve? Which goddesses surround pile number 1 and what are they trying to help pile number 1 achieve? Let's get going here. Guys, before I get started, please don't forget to do things like subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button if you like the reading. If you hit the post bell notification, you'll know every time I post a video. I have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica, and I also have a Patreon that I will link to that you can join for daily spiritual guidance. Let's get going here with our infinity spread. I have the Page of Wands in the upright. But that's a very inspirational energy. It's often related to the muses. The goddesses that surround you are trying to like connect you to your feeling of creativity, your feeling of the ability that you can do anything, confidence. It's really weird because the first one that comes through is actually Athena, she is the goddess of war, but she's also about strategy and planning. So that kind of clear logic is the thing that comes through on that, even though it's a wand. I have the 5 of Cups in the upright, which is one of the cards for mourning and for loss. They are trying to help you heal a feeling of futility, a feeling of defining life by what has been lost rather than what the loss makes room for. So there is a goddess of abundance available here as well. Let me keep going and see which one it is. I have the Page of Pentacles in the upright is a very earth-related energy. And then I have the Queen of Wands in the upright. A lot of fire energy around this. A lot of fire energy around this. My feeling is it's Persephone. And are those from 2 different belief systems? Absolutely. Athena and Persephone are the ones that are identified. So that is the goddess of planning, of strategy, of thinking things through, of making that heart-mind coherence energy, having things make sense. You are likely somebody who has experienced enough loss that like you feel like the deck is stacked against you sometime. Athena is really the one that is trying to help you reason things out, to examine things, to look for the lessons. That's the Page of Pentacles in the upright. Because ultimately, it fuels your personal power. That is the first thing that it is Athena wants you to know, is that even though you feel like you've been far too challenged, it was to prove your own strength to you. that like you have been a person who like hides your light under a bushel type of thing. You didn't want a lot of focus on you. That like you sought safety instead of accomplishment. And the losses in your life and the challenges in your life have been about making you tap in. And particularly those times when you felt like you couldn't rely on anybody, or that like if you did, you made a bad bargain each time. That she was chiefly behind that. And she is the goddess that came in. This is the feminine divine energy that came in, which in like what I normally approach with, I would refer to as the goddess Athena. But the energy was called forth by the feminine divine representation of Persephone, who is the goddess of the underworld, but is also very closely related with pomegranates, which is about abundance. So in order to bring you the abundant life that you truly deserve, Athena was the one who came forward. And Athena, again, is one of the goddesses of war. But she's intellect. She's in the heart-mind battle. She's the mind. That is your greatest gift, is being able to put feelings aside after you have examined them, after you've understood them, to look for the lessons that you have learned and the ways in which you have become strong. And ultimately relying only on you is the thing that will bring you all the abundance in the world. Your heart space was almost too big. And so others came in and tried to like misuse that feeling within you. This is not a gendered thing, by the way. If you identify as a man, if you identify as a woman, you still have goddess energy available to you, as we all contain masculine and feminine divine energies. Six of Pentacles in reverse, that's a loss energy. I'm not laughing about it, it's just like echo. The losses in your life, the unbalanced relationships, were all about making you confront who you truly are, what you are capable of, and what you're overcoming. With the Death card, which is a rebirth card, another card of like needing to face losses in order to be able to like know the value of what you retain and to know your own power within this world. Comes out with the Queen of Pentacles in the upright, which is security. It is, the Queen of Pentacles can do it all. That's another earth energy. Persephone is closely related to earth and was technically the bride of Hades in mythology, but returned in the spring. The battles that have been brought to you, even though like this can be exhausting to hear, it's like you'll just make you stronger. It's not about how well you can take a punch. It's about how much pressure had to be put on you to be able to understand I am my own hero. I'm the person I need. If you felt left high and dry by too many people too often, it was not so that you would never extend yourself to another, but that you would give appropriately and never to your own detriment. You had a problem with giving too much in relationships in the past with that Six of Pentacles in reverse. All the losses were to bring you to a new form of life, the Death card in the upright, rebirth. They were difficult lessons, but they were all about your value. They were all about your value. Helping you always stand up for your own value, to choose your own value, to choose to see yourself as powerful. I've got the Seven of Cups in reverse, which is bringing new things into reality. It was bringing you into your personal power. That Queen of Wands in the upright, the Queen of Wands is somebody who's very compelling, charismatic, can make things happen. That is a manifesting energy. If you've ever watched me before, then you already know this. If you haven't, I do not read by astrological signs. I read by personality traits. I am actually an earth sign. I literally never represent with a pentacle. I always represent with wands. And I'm not cusp either. And it's not one of my rising signs or anything. Just saying that we all possess different attributes. The challenges that have been brought to you, if you are having trouble finding the lesson in amongst the pain sometimes, because you have to clear out that emotion first, is one of the things that you would want to do is light a blue candle on either, the new moon is going to be great as well, but you can do it on the full moon for releasing. You're going to want to light a blue candle and call out to the goddess Athena and ask for clarity on your situation, because that is part of what is lacking in this particular energy. It's not a criticism, it's just an observation. The lessons brought to you, sometimes you get overwhelmed by your emotions and it can start to feel very unfair to you. Again, a tendency towards giving too much in relationships to your own And I don't just mean romantic ones. I mean in friendships. I mean in family. Always putting yourself last in line is what those losses were about teaching you, was to leave you with yourself until you valued yourself. I have the Who Are You? Sire of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. No, I'm sorry. It is the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Bringing something to an end, with the Six of Cups in the upright, which is nostalgia, things from the past life relationships. You're closing out a karmic cycle if you take the right actions. Meaning, and does that mean there's wrong actions? No, that's not what it means. It means that if you can lean in on the, okay, well, I accept that even though it's been difficult, everything that came into my life was about helping me rather than punishing me. To teach me to rely on self, that if I was looking for a knight in shining armor, now I look in the mirror and I see somebody wearing a full suit of armor with a shield and a sword. And this is, again, not about gender. It's about, if you are whole within, if you truly believe that, like, the people who are with you on your journey are there not to prove to you who you are, but rather because they value you, it just changes everything. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What else have we got here? I would work with Athena, knowing that the ultimate goal is this manifestation of an abundant life, generosity and giving appropriately. You gave too much to others in the past, thinking that you would receive in return, and then when it was your turn, as I said, you got left high and dry. Athena is a very, I almost want to say cold-blooded kind of goddess, but, like, again, it's because it's the energy of air. Remember, fire burns air. It's the energy of air and logic, and the actions that you need to take are about confronting, okay, I accept that the stuff in my life has been trying to teach me about my own worth, my own value, and my own gifts. Which is what Persephone wants you to focus on, is that abundance is within your grasp when you know your own power. Abundance was within your grasp when you see yourself as someone who is worthy of all things. And that is something that you have struggled with. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember, if you've struggled with something, it's almost always from your formative experience. Every now and then someone will have a biochemical thing going on with a chemical imbalance. But for the most part, how we approach ourselves is something we're programmed to do. And it's like you've been being deprogrammed. Reassess. Oh, wow. Whoa. You're being asked to take stock of your life and let go of anything or anyone that no longer makes you happy. Notice who and what brings you joy and who and what doesn't. It's time for some life cleanup. This has clearly been translated into English because of the grammatical error there. This is still one of the best oracle decks around. It's the Shishu Oracle. We're going to take one more from it. Keep going. It may feel as though you've been on this path or journey for so long, and you may even wonder if you're making any progress towards your dreams. This message is a loving reminder for you to keep going. You're almost there. So here's what you want to do. If you believe in working with goddesses through any form of candle magic, light the blue candle. If you don't, you're like, I'm very deeply uncomfortable with that, then sit down, meditate, get yourself shielded and grounded, and call upon the goddess energy, the logical, strategic energy of Athena to help you examine your life for the lessons and, like, kind of try to make the bargain with yourself that, listen, I should feel my feelings, but for this particular exercise, I want to understand so I can make progress. And so I'm not going to make it about how it felt to me, but what it was trying to bring me. Even if it felt not great, even if it felt kind of awful. That's a lot of, like, a feeling of grief around something. Let's get the Quantum Oracle, and we're going to get the House, Wisdom of the House and the Night as well. If you are, I'm deeply uncomfortable with the idea of Athena, then you would want to call to the element of air. If you work within, like, something like Wicca, or like in what I practice, celestial and angelic magic, we can call on simply the elements as well. So you can call to the goddesses of air and get the same targeted impact. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Can you please tell me anything more for pile number 1 and what goddesses surround them and what they're trying to help with, please? 1. Okay. Confidence, the moon. There is the intuition energy there. You actually, if you ever question whether or not you get the right answers, first of all, we often look for answers to, like, assuage our fears, to try and make us feel better. And we'll get to 9 on that, because it's the tarot is not meant to be a crutch. It's meant to be a tool. And so if you have had conflicting or misinformation within your own intuition, or even in readings, particularly the pick of cards, because the pick of cards work with your intuition, you get drawn to the answers that are meant to come to you. So if you've been drawn to false answers at any point, understand that it may be that there was something that you needed to heal, and that there was something that you needed to accept, and that it kept you going on a path. Because that will happen. They never, ever, ever, ever lie to us. But what they do is they figure out, they like plot out a GPS route for us, and sometimes that's the land you have to travel through to keep you going. Because there's a tendency when there's been a lot of loss in life to want to give up, because like, what's the point? I'll just lose. That's how it feels. It is because when you get into the energy of like, I have not lost anything that was worth keeping. I have not lost anything that was meant for me to keep. You cannot keep anything that is not meant for you, and everything that is meant for you will come towards you. Now, does that mean that like you let it in? Not always, not always. We still have determination. We still have the ability to make our own choices. That's what free will really is. And how can free will and fate coexist? Here is why. In the course of a very long lifetime, perhaps you have 6 fateful occurrences. Well, a lot more than 6 things happen in your lifetime. Your free will exists in all the other choices, and then the fateful occurrences are the things that are brought to you that were about the lessons your soul was trying to learn, or the things you were trying to accomplish, and you still get to say yes or no. Now here's the thing, the universe will course correct and try and bring things back to you. If you have resisted what your true path was meant to be, it will come back to you in a different form. So fate will return to you over and over again to give you more and more opportunities about, are you sure that's what you want to choose? Because it's your ego influencing that particular decision, and this is what your soul was asking for when it came here. And so that's how free will and fate can coexist. The vast majority, let's say as an arbitrary number, 75% of your life is free will. 25% of it will contain the fateful lessons and the fateful occurrences and the fateful pairings and the fateful everything that will be brought to you, and you still get to say yes or no. But if you say no to something that your soul deeply wants, it circles back to you. Belonging. Ooh, interesting. And I want one more on that one. With hope. Okay, so there's a feeling of being excluded on these cards and having to learn your own power, which is what we were talking about. That the disappointing relationships that you've had in the past with people who were not, again, worthy of hanging out, being the recipient of that energy that you're so willing to share with others, but that you don't treat yourself properly sometimes. Call upon Athena. She will help you the most. Persephone, also working with the moon, because you've got one of the moon cards here, with hope as well. Remember, hope is about belief, and absolutely everything has to do with our ability to believe that we can connect with a universal force and a divine force in order to get the best life that we can live here, that we are on a purposeful journey. And even though sometimes that road is rough, and in fact it's like, oh wow, the road was washed away and it took them 3 years to rebuild it, that it's all part of a process that brings us the lessons about becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Because this is a very powerful person who basically got kneecapped by life over and over again. And after a while, it was like feeling like, well, I should just wear knee pads and stay in the house. No, it's to be, it turns out that I can heal, that the only thing that can ever truly take me out is me. That I am as resilient and as strong and as flexible and as powerful as the needs of the moment. And that means that if I can find that power and access it for the things that I want, I will achieve what I want. So they are actually trying to help you. I have Fire Dragon. Whoa. Why? Because I chose the Dragon Tarot on that. Fire Dragon, co-create with the universe. You're in co-creation with the universe. Reach out to the divine and the universal energies that are trying to help you with your journey. And yours has to do with understanding the events in your life. Those are basically the wands, because they're all about the actions taken. They're all about trying to, the inspiration, the drive, the creativity, but in the bad, it's anger, it's resentment, it's frustration, sometimes, destructive forms of lust. They're trying to help you get a handle on your personal power with all of the lessons that are brought to you. Athena, who will help make everything make sense, or the element of air, is the goddess that you most want to call upon for this. But what they're trying to help you achieve, what these universal feminine divine energies are trying to help you achieve, is a truly abundant life in which you give and receive. You give and receive in equal measures, that your relationships serve you rather than thwart you, that you have the ability to tap into your personal power to achieve what you wish to achieve, that you are only ever blown about slightly, but your ship will always right itself because you believe in your ability to be able to overcome whatever is in your path. And so that eventually you're like, yeah, come at me, bro. I'm going to take it on. I'm going to win. And that's when you're free of the darker aspects, the shadow aspects that they're trying to help you deal with. But for whatever reason, Persephone feels like the right connection for you in the abundance energy. It can be a difficult journey, being honest with yourself about the role that you have played in the things that have gone wrong. Because we're never just truly a victim of fate. And it's not to lay shame or blame on anything. It's like, hey, do you want this to get better and to get the best outcomes? And then accept that, like, maybe sometimes, like, what you wanted got in the way of seeing what was best for you. And that can happen to anybody. It happened to me. It happens to most people. Here we go. Let's get going with the energy deck, please. 1, 2, 3. What have we got for pile number 1? Here we go. The thinking one comes out to be pretty funny. Here we go. All right, we've got, yin yang, going with the emotional flow. Is that 2? It feels like it's 2. No, I guess it's just 1. Just feeling very thick right now. The world, which is being open to new possibilities, success, new things happening. Our 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael, which is an emotional flow card. It's not a goddess energy. That's the Archangel Raphael, which is about your heart space. Healer of the ages. Contract and community. So this gets to be one of those things that we hear that it's like, oh, come on, that's the world's worst consolation prize. It's not a consolation prize. It is about what our soul requests when we come here. And if you're drawn to me as a reader and you're really my collective, then you're very much about finding your life's purpose. So even though some of the difficulties brought to you, it's like that doesn't feel like a very kind force that would bring me so much loss in order to get me to go towards purpose. It is about learning about ourselves and about who we should extend our energy towards, and who, like, unconditional love is an interesting concept, but unconditional love is also a double-edged sword because it does not belong in romantic relationships. Unconditional love does not mean unconditional access. You can release somebody with all the love in the world. And unfortunately, this is the draw of somebody who needed to start over after they invested in the wrong things. And that Athena is the one that will help you look at this with logic, so that when your emotions rise up, there's a part of you, if you have access to that logical energy at all times, it's not that you'll repress your feelings any longer so that they come out in these great big, giant waves. It is so that you will, as you're having them, understand already what the lessons are within them. And it helps mitigate them and helps them flow from you more easily. So that is the point of it, is a better understanding of self, and not seeing things solely from the prospect of I didn't get what I want, but rather, okay, I didn't get what I want. Why? What was it trying to teach me? What was it trying to help me with? If we can start approaching our journey, no matter how difficult, because, like, for real, like sometimes the journey is so difficult, it's like, I cannot believe this is in my best interest. But if we can start approaching our journey with everything that comes to me contains, as well as the feelings that it brings, the information that is trying to bring me the best life that I can have. Work with, I really would suggest Athena, but you can call out to the element of air, you can call out to the goddesses of air. Once you have that understanding, by the way, those big emotions that you have will go into big creativity, big inspiration, big joy, big happiness, big fulfillment. When we get stuck in the feeling part of it without the understanding, it has a tendency to dwell in the negative. because we're very easily overwhelmed by our negative emotions, and we have a tendency to start fearing them because of that. When you have the logical understanding of what it was trying to do, and again, the role we play, because we all play a role in it, it's not an accusation, it's like a hint as to you want better outcomes, then don't think it's about your value or whether or not you're smart or whether or not you're worthy or never whether about you're deserving. We all see things through the filter of ego sometimes, and we choose for the ego rather than in service of the highest self. The highest self has as much logic as it does anything in it, where we look at it and go, okay, listen, I love myself no matter what, so how did I screw up right there? Because like I love me enough to say a mistake is a learning opportunity. And if I learn the lesson, then I get a better outcome next time, okay? Work with Athena to connect you to Persephone, or in your belief system, your goddess of abundance. But start with a goddess of war, because we are talking about a strategy or a battle plan, okay? So Athena is the one that came through in my cards, and that is the one that I would recommend you try to connect with, either through candle work or through meditation. And don't worry, there's no peril there. Just do please make sure to shield in some capacity. And all over, just Google or on YouTube, look for protective shield frequency, and it will bring you a return. Okay, take care, be well. I'm back. Hey, if you chose pile number 2, this is your reading. We're putting the number 2 over there so you can easily fast forward to your readings. There are timestamps in the description box down below. This is what goddesses are around you and what are they trying to help you with. Now, I said this on pile 1, I'll say it on every pile. I am very likely to approach the goddess energy, the energy of the feminine divine, through the belief systems that I am most likely to interact with. You can always call upon the deity within your own belief system that matches the energy that I'm talking about. The first pile actually had some things about Athena, and so what you would look for would be the goddess of war, as for instance. But let's see what's coming out here. Let's get going for pile number 2. Hey guys, before I get started, please don't forget to subscribe. It helps my channel. If you hit the thumbs up button, if you like the reading, that helps as well. I have a Patreon with Monday through Friday daily guidance in it. You can join that as well. I'll link to it in the description, in the space above at the end of the reading. And I have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica. Let's get going here. Oh, and if you want to book me for a private reading, you can do so through attherisingmoon.com. That's the only way to book me, and there is a link to my website in the description box down below. Hanged Man in reverse, which is interesting, taking action. This is like moving out of a period of not a lot happening. Oh, this is a new energy coming in. The World in reverse, which is a starting over energy, like a ground is cleared. The path is cleared, but it's almost like maybe it got blown up in the first place. 6 of Cups in reverse, which is clearing difficult energies from the past. The Moon in the upright. It's a card for Pisces. It's the goddess of the moon energy as well. My feeling on this is that it's going to be Shiva. Page of Swords in reverse, which Shiva, the Great Destroyer. Why would that be a good goddess to have to be working with? Because it helps us understand the paths that needed to be cleared to make way for our best outcomes. You only have one goddess energy present here. It is for the new beginnings in your world so that the past can fade into memory, to release that which was holding you back, to strengthen your intuition, to strengthen your ability to be connected to the universal flow. The moon is a very important part. There is a feminine energy within, it's the feminine divine. It depends on the belief system. One of the connections, again, is for Persephone. But I don't have that energy on this. It's more the actual goddess of the moon energy, which will help us connect to intuition. It really does feel like Shiva here. I have the 3 of Swords in reverse, which is healing. I have the 4 of Wands in reverse and releasing attachments. I have the 2 of Swords in reverse, which is choices. We're going to get this. High Priestess in the upright. That is actually Persephone's card. But again, the moon very closely related to it. It's strong intuition. It's learning new things. It's being able to, like the secrets, the mystery, the enigmatic quality of why things happen as well. With the 10 of Pentacles in the upright, which is about security. So This has to do with leaning into the idea that, like, the Tower card, which is not present here, which I kind of understand why, because it scares the crap out of people, but it's about divine intervention. And the premise behind the Tower is that anything built on a faulty foundation must fall. These are new beginnings cards about difficult things from the past. You have a lifetime in which, like, it's trying to release the karma of all the other lifetimes to learn the lessons. There likely, it really should be that you have had multiple instances where it's like here 1 minute, gone the next, in terms of a feeling of security, as if you can't ever put down roots, as if you're always in flux, always in flow, always traveling but never arriving. That's how this, if this is your pile, that is how, like, life has felt too often. Like, there's a part of you that has on occasion longed for boredom. Not that you've never been bored, but that, like, you just wanted things to settle down. Shiva and leaning into the idea of any destruction brought to us is because it is clearing the path for a better road. Is to remember that Shiva is actually one of the goddesses for rebirth, which so is Persephone. Because Persephone spends time in the underworld every season, every winter, which then comes back in spring, which is a rebirth energy. What I would suggest is meditating and trying to connect with Shiva to ask to be cleared of all difficult attachments from the past. Because that is one of the goddess energies. And again, work within your own belief system. I think I said this at the top, but you can simply take that energy, the destroyer energy, the Tower energy, and invite it into your life. One of the reasons that you would want to do that is that you want to clear the attachments that hold you back from your highest power. These are the choices that will connect you to your natural abilities, your natural, like, guidance, your purposeful journey. But that it's a difficult one because it does involve the willingness to start over again. The willingness to view that whatever, like, calamities have caused this kind of, like, whoa, it feels like everything gets blown up around you. That, like, you see these people with lives who seem to, like, it's like, wow, it seems like nothing ever happens in your life. What's that like? Because you have these big, like, almost land-buying moments in your life. And that is because the Shiva energy, the destroyer energy, the chaos energy is around you. And it is simply to clear all of the attachments from the past. 6 Cups in reverse, difficult relationship to the past or from the past. And then the 4 of Wands in reverse, which is an attachment energy. That like, the destruction in your life has been about clearing attachments to the things that actually hold you back. Even if you feel like they had been sustaining you, they were not. And that is security. Like, it feels good, but it's only ever a mindset. So, like, if you feel like you're safe, particularly within a relationship, that's only your perception until something goes wrong, and then you see the true nature of the relationship. And sometimes it proves as, like, you were exactly the right person. But just as often, it proves as, like, you are not who I thought you were. And so that's why we have to kind of look within. And the things, the big landmine moments really are about clearing away debris on the path that keeps you from making the meaningful progress in the areas of accomplishment, of power, of wealth. It has to do, because the Ten of Pentacles is the best financial card there is, it really does have to do with connecting you to your ability to find your own security, to build your own world, so that, like, the people you have around you because you are happy with them, because you feel secure in who you are, because they appreciate you. But you would never let them linger there too long if they began to mistreat you, because you are in a situation for security, because you provide your own. So it is the energy of the destroyer, destroying all, and the Ganesh would be another god, but we're dealing with the feminine divine here. Working with those energies to clear all blockages in your path. That is what I would suggest doing. For the first group, I suggested some candle magic. I'm not going to suggest that here because Shiva's such a strong energy. What I would suggest is sitting down to meditate, or taking a walk in nature, or any of the things that allows you to go within into a state of receptivity. Some people find it when they're doing rote tasks like unloading the dishwasher or cleaning. Wherever your mind gets to wander and is open to, like, the suggestions within, that takes the place for intuition. We're on a need-to-know basis with our intuition to get the answers that will help you on your path. What you want to do is invite the energy of clarity and the energy of removing obstacles from your path. And there are so many different figures and so many different belief systems that are in charge of this that honest to goodness, I would simply ask for the energy of clarity and for the energy of the healing tower to be brought to you. Okay? All right, let's keep going here. Rise above the dark days of life. Do not fight them, but have faith that the light will always return. A partnership for the new age. It's time to welcome it. Oh, that's an interesting one. Release your creative energies. Make use of them in your life. What are they trying to help you accomplish? The love that you deserve. It's funny because she was not the goddess that you'd be like, oh yes, love. But that's what it is that the reason that like things keep going kablooey and like things get taken away dramatically is that, and this is not an accusation, I have done this, it's so common, it's so human. I've done this as well. Most of the people you've ever met have done this as well. Trying to hold on to something for the security of the feeling that it gives you. Even though sometimes it means not looking too closely about the reality of it, like things being concealed with the moon. But what they're trying to help you accomplish is actually like real love, real connection. Someone who is with you because they appreciate you and view you as a gift within their life. Like somebody who would treat you properly because they actually fear losing you, not for a reason of security or possession, but because they really value you. They see your unique qualities, your divine qualities, your true soul. So that's what it's trying to help you with. And if it doesn't feel that way, it's like, how in the world can losing everything 4 or 5 times over and over help with finding true love? It makes you not cling to anything. When you've had that kind of like, everything was fine one day and then the next thing, everything was gone. It makes you not overly invest in the idea of permanence. And I'll use myself as an example because nobody gets in trouble except for me when I do that. I was in a house fire when I was 12 years old. And it was actually a pretty bad one, but like I got very, very lucky. It's a long story. I won't share it here. Ever since then, it has made me not particularly materialistic. When material possessions are lost, I just kind of wave goodbye to them, which helped me in downsizing after a divorce, where I'd had this very privileged life and a lot of it had to go away. And I released it because stuff never meant that much to me because of that fire. Because I saw how fragile stuff was at a formative stage in my life. And I was like, I'm not going to invest too much worth in that. And that is just an example of what destruction in a life can teach that is positive. Because it has made me much freer. Water, emotions are at their peak. It is the weirdest thing, but they're trying to make you happier. And it's like, that seems counterintuitive. Like, how in the world with loss, things went kablooey, like it was there one day, gone the next. How would that ever make me happier? Because you'd stop thinking that permanence was the only way to be happy. That you really do, like you have things come and go. And that you just value them while they're there and you don't worry so much about keeping them. Which takes all of like the weird pressures off of every type of relationship. That you don't worry, is this person going to be beside my side when I'm 85 years old? And instead, you know that you're with each other for the time period that you're truly a good partnership. That you wouldn't want anybody staying by your side through obligation. It makes you less security seeking when you get into this energy of understanding stuff's going to happen. The world's like a kind of a volatile place sometimes. I invest in how I can make today. And that's the energy it's trying to help you. The gate, a barrier keeps you from your goal. It's also security energy. The golem, a close friend acts on your behalf. And then the oracle, seek wisdom and guidance from elders. Wow. That's always such a strange energy to try and get somebody to invest in. Listen, it's felt horrible, but Shiva has visited your life over and over again to try and like take from your grasp the things that you wanted to hold on to for security. But the reason that energy is in your life is because they're trying to bring you like every good thing. true security of your own making, so that you don't look to a person outside of you to make you feel secure. And you know that everybody that is in this partnership for the new age energy, and this is a romantic relationship that is depicted. It's not a business one that's depicted in this. It is to help bring you a real love that is not based in what can that person do for me, what picture can we paint together that I get to have forever. Instead, this is somebody who you've never had a relationship like this, so you have no idea what it feels like yet, which is like somebody who truly values you, not for what you do for them, but for who you are, and vice versa. So we'll go ahead and take a romance angel, because it really does feel like this is like, well, interesting. Again, not the goddess energy that I'd ever be like, oh, that makes perfect sense. On the breakdown of the energies here, it makes perfect sense to me. Is that trying to get you to confront that your relationship choices in the past have been about your own childhood experience. Like perhaps you felt abandoned or rejected. And so like that was the worst thought to you, was somebody leaving you, rather than the better question to ask is like, oh, what if they won't leave me? What if they leave me? Should this person be in my life? Do they really value me? Do they treat me properly? Do I feel like they're worthy of my time and my attention? What do I get in return on this? Is this person just taking from me? Is it all about what I can do for them? You ask yourself the right questions, not is this person leaving me, but rather it doesn't matter ultimately, because no matter who comes or goes, I always have me. And when I have me, I feel as if I can face every part of life because I know how to make me happy. I know how to be kind to me. And when I get to that energy, it means that I will never settle for less. And so she has been in your life disrupting a tendency to, this is not an accusation, we all do it, settle for security instead of love. Here we go, 1 and 2 and 3. Relationships are challenging, and concessions do need to be made, and we do need to learn the art of compromise. That said, you should be able to express your authentic self. You should not feel shamed nor neglected by your partner. Everything, it should be an equal give and take. Not, I'm so lucky this person loves me, but rather, we are very fortunate to face this part of our life together. And again, you don't keep the wrong people when you're not tying your feeling of safety in this world to being with that person. Unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. And then new love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. Well, I get this from the past. Now, unrequited love, does that mean that you weren't loved in return, not in a healthy manner? Or that you weren't in it for the right reasons? That, like, when we look for security, we put aside the idea of, like, security should not be the primary relationship deciding factor. It's not so you can buy a house. It's not so that you can travel. It's not so that you don't die alone. It's so that you have the right person. And this fear of abandonment energy that I have is about holding on to something, even if it's not the right thing any longer, so that this person can come in. And the new person will bring new energies with them. But that is what the destructive energy in your life has been about. So on the other pile, it was like, oh, how do you work with this? The only thing I would suggest is asking for assistance in clearing the blockages towards true happiness in your life. And you can do that through meditation. I honestly would not suggest a candle working on this. I have never actually told this story in full, but and I guess I'm not going to here either, but I had the most gigantic and spectacular effects from a spell that I did that accidentally invoked the tower 7 times. Accidentally, why candles got knocked over, it's a long story. And I didn't break the spell because I really, really needed it to work. There, I guess I told the story after all. And it saved my life, but it was very, very dramatic. Anywho, that is the type of stuff that can result when you accidentally invoke the tower energy or Shiva in candle magic. It's a big explosion, whereas sometimes you just want a gentle pop to catch your attention. I would suggest through meditation and through considering the things that you have lost in your life from a new angle, because that is what the Hanged Man in reverse is actually about, which is considering things from a new perspective so that new beginnings can come in. What you're being asked to examine is your tendency to, this is a fear of abandonment. This is a fear of abandonment that has dictated choices as well. The other thing I see it sometimes influence that people are unaware of is that they choose partners who aren't free. That you're very attracted, and I'm not saying you are, it's just this is one of the examples, that you can end up being very attracted to people who are not actually single because of a relationship dynamic you witnessed as a child, in which usually a person was abandoned because their parent left for another relationship. And so they're trying to enact the no, please choose me instead. And that's why they have a tendency to be attracted to people who are already in relationships. And once you identify that, oh my God, that's why I do that, of it all, then you get freed from that particular cycle and you examine the choices that you're making. And you confront the fact that you potentially being abandoned as a child had nothing to do with your worth. And the fact that being a grown-up and feelings and relationships are very, very complicated. And that sometimes people can be very confused about what the right thing to do is. And it's never actually the right answer to remain in a relationship for a child, because then it teaches the child the wrong lessons about what relationships exist for in their life. And we try to make them about security, but that's where they so often go wrong. Let's get some oracle cards on this one. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. But let's go ahead and we're going to get some from the Chinese 5 elements oracle to see what energy we're working with here. Anything else pile number 2 needs to know about that? Upending the entire world to take a new perspective on loss energy was about. So that was what Shiva has been bringing into your life. Again, do I suggest working with Shiva? Be prepared, man. It's like, honest to goodness, because that is what I accidentally did. And did it work spectacularly? Oh my God, yes. It was really, really a sight to see. But it was also like, trying to navigate the North Sea during the most, choppy passages, which the North Sea is notoriously difficult. Earth Pig, surrender to the moment. We have Fire Sheep, clear your blockage. All right then, go crystal time. Okay, Metal Dragon, waking the warrior within, so as to connect you to your own true power, so that you would not look for your power in a partnership, but rather from within. That always freaks me out when I get such a strong echo. And this is a big deck. This is a big deck. So Earth Pig, surrendering to the idea that everything that is brought to you, even great losses and great destruction and great upheaval, has within it the seed of everything that you want. Because the universe is always trying to help us. And sometimes our damage, our emotional damage, that part of us that is like, you need to protect me, I'm just a little kid. Which is where that feeling of a need for security comes in, if you weren't properly protected as a child as well. And looking for that in external relationships always leads to disappointment. Looking for it within always leads to empowerment. And you will always find your best love, your best pairing, your best life when you are living in an empowered energy. Shiva has been working with you already. You can ask for more clarity on that. Again, invocation through magic, assume crash positions, but if you're brave enough to do it, go ahead. It will clear every blockage from your life, but it really can take the form of oh, the house burned down. Oh my goodness. It really can. I'm not trying to be threatening or anything. It's just be very careful about invoking an energy that strong, because it will get it done expediently, which can mean you getting tossed around like a pea inside of a ship on the North Sea. And then Metal Dragon, waking the warrior within. It is so you can be in your strongest power and to believe in yourself and to see how you are lovable as well. But Shiva's been trying to bring you, with all of the destruction and all of the disruption and all of the tumultuous energy, Shiva has been trying to bring you true love. So it may not feel that way, but that's the journey that these seasons of loss, if I hold on to it, if I care about it, it gets yanked away from me. The lesson is not, so never care about anything. The lesson is, why wasn't it meant for me? If I lost it, it wasn't meant for me. You will never lose things that dramatically if you're truly meant to keep them. And if some of you are saying, hey, listen, I lost a parent when I was very young. Yes, so did I. I had actually a lot of death in my childhood. That's because there's a lesson in your own empowerment there that can be learned. Life is a finite substance, and people are only meant to be here for a certain time. And it's not something we're being afflicted with. It really isn't. It can be tremendous grief. It can be tremendous grief. But try to look at the losses in your life as to why wasn't that thing meant for me in the first place? Because for some reason that Shiva energy came along and said, boom, gone. Why? Trying to lead you towards an actual true love, which I'm not positive you even believe in any longer, okay? That was an interesting reading. If you want to book me for a private reading, at therisingmoon.com. Otherwise, thanks so much for joining me. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. Hey, if you chose pile number 3, this is your reading. We're going to put the number 3 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their reading. There are always timestamps in the description box down below. Let's get going. What goddesses are surrounding pile number 3, and what are they trying to help them accomplish? Been an interesting reading so far. I kind of got guided to doing it, and I wasn't sure what it was going to bring. This is the Lepus Tarot. We'll be bringing you your infinity spread. Guys, before I get started, please don't forget to do things like subscribe. It helps my channel. Hit the thumbs up button if you like the reading. If you want to book me for a private reading, at therisingmoon.com is the only way you can do so. I have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica as well. Oh, and I have a Patreon, Monday through Friday, spiritual advice. I'll link to it at the end of this. Ace of Swords in reverse, which is an interesting one. It's the card of like releasing attachments, of clearing obstacles. It can be the card of confusion as well. That comes out with the Six of Wands in reverse. One of the more interesting Six of Wands, a delayed journey. Confusion about your purpose, delayed a journey. Who are we dealing with here? I have the Knight of Wands in reverse, frustration. With the Hierophant card in the upright, which is the card of mentoring, therapy, of counseling, of teaching. The guy, it's interesting because this is a very patriarchal energy. Your path was delayed by confusion about purpose in your life and why you are the way that you are. That like you've had some frustration and anger issues. The goddess energy I've got here is coming through as Two of Cups in the upright, as like Isis or maybe Panacea, because it's one of the healing energies, one of the healing goddesses. It's a Kuan Yin, I think, in the Buddhist tradition. It's an interesting energy here. Remember, if you are given the name of a goddess, you simply, and that goddess is of healing, you would look it up in your belief system and appeal to that deity. You will have access to it. It's a universal energy. It just has a different name in different regions. We have the Ten of Wands in reverse, which is releasing something. This has been a message over and over again. You've likely had to release a relationship that was incredibly important to you. It was a very confusing set of circumstances, and you couldn't understand why it wouldn't work out. It was because that relationship would have gotten in the way of your path, of your spiritual path, of a commitment that you made to a belief system, either as a high priest or a high priestess. Is a healing energy. Ooh, look there, we have the Devil in the upright with the Knight of Wands in reverse. You likely feel like you had to overcome potentially some substance abuse problems, but like being your own worst enemy sometimes. Like you probably have really struggled with a bigger temper, which is normal. Don't like beat yourself up for it, just learn how to work with it. The Hierophant in the upright. It's people who have these big energies are here to do big things. This is coming out with the Magician in reverse as well. Learning about your own power. You have a healer's energy. You have a mentor's energy as well. That's a therapy card, the 12-step program type of card with the Hierophant as well. But that personal relationships have been your Achilles heel. That you haven't, like I said, there's been questions about why do I have to be this way? Why am I who I am? The first name that came to me, I believe, was actually Panacea, which is the Greek goddess of healing. But it's the goddess of healing in whatever belief system that you ascribe to that is trying to come through to you to help you know your true worth, to know your true gifts, to be able, the things that you have overcome, you'll be able to teach other people to overcome them as well. That you're a form of counselor or a form of mentor or a form of teacher. Four Cups in reverse, things happening behind the scenes as well. Four Swords in the upright, putting things to rest, a feeling of rightness, of meditation, of connection. And this is an interesting one because the next card would have been the Ace of Wands in reverse, and that is actually putting the destructive potential of fire beside you, aside, no longer having it rule that area of your life. This is a weird thing about nature, but fire plays an important part in the actual maintenance of an ecosystem. That, like, part of what causes those raging out of control fires is not actually just about climate change. It's that we don't allow controlled burns. That's what nature engages in, is a controlled burn. And that's what you're getting to the energy of, is that your fire will be about getting things done, about passion, about drive, about connection, rather than about a destructive tendency towards self. Because this particular person has struggled with a tendency towards self-destructive habits, relationships, tendencies, feelings, not knowing how to deal with the giant energy that they have. But it has been teaching you the 4 in reverse, 4 in the upright. That's a download code. The 4s are all about like stability, of like building a strong foundation. There is a goddess of healing present in your life, came through to me first as Panacea, that has been trying to help you build a very sturdy foundation, but that you had to get to know yourself through a series of difficult circumstances, including what looks to me like the Ace of Swords in reverse, 2 of Cups in the upright. The underlying issue of this like cutting of ties was that you've struggled tremendously with the relationships in your life. And again, the energy that just keeps coming through over and over again is, why do I have to be like this? You're not broken. You're made different for a different purpose. And that purpose is actually for healing. And everything that you've been through, when you learn the lesson from it, you can then convey the lesson to others and thereby make a big difference in the world. Because people with this much energy, this much fire, this much drive, can really reshape things when they're targeted in the right direction. But you either are a healer, I would say that you are, or an educator. Quite simply, an educator does not mean a teacher. It means that somebody who convey information to another person to make a greater difference in that person's life and the world as a whole. But you've had a healer, a goddess, a healing goddess with you. It's been very difficult though, because like you've had to heal a great deal, which is one of the reasons that this energy has been present with you a lot. You should have noticed that from very difficult circumstances, you get the best possible outcomes, meaning that it's not that the path has been easy. I really get the feeling that it has not. It is not. Releasing a need to control has been something that you have struggled with. You've been, like I said, in this energy of like, sometimes I don't choose well for myself, because you've been getting to know yourself. You have a healing goddess who's trying to help you heal. You can tap into that. I would suggest water is one of the best things to work with when you're dealing with healing energies. The Archangel Raphael is the corresponding archangel for healers. You are unique. Be brave, a little crazy, but be yourself. Oh, the unique energy. Why do I have to be this way? Because you're not meant to be like everybody else. And that can be a really hard one, but like, here's the thing. It is better to be different in a world that has gotten a great many things wrong, because you're far more likely to find the path that is one that will help course correct. You won't be afraid to do things differently when you accept that you are different because you are meant to be different. Hello. All right. Your deepest desires constrain you. Listen, let them go and clear your mind. So what is that? That is a codependency card. I've got a difficult relationship energy here. I've got the devil in the upright. Codependency is not weakness. It is a fundamental emotional injury at a formative stage that has us lose our identity to relationships, thinking I'm nothing without this person, or if this person doesn't choose me, I'm not anything worth having. That putting your worth into the hands of another rather than finding it within. That's all that is. Cross the bridge of happiness, it leads over the depths of your emotions. So what has this goddess been trying to help you achieve? The ability to use your fire in a way that is the controlled burn, rather than the great destruction that rages out of control and takes out more than it ever meant to. It has been trying to help you achieve a balance within, because with that great destructive tendency is the ability to create. Everything contains its opposite. And so for everything destructive within you, there is something productive and something that is healing. Codependency appears to be the thing that you have struggled with. But what they're trying to bring you is this feeling of peace so that you can find great happiness. We're going to do something that, like, I've been a little bit conflicted about what to do about recent messages about exploring love more in the readings that I do, because I've really backed off from it for a long time, simply because I do help people heal from codependency. That said, a lot of people have, and now they are like, is that area of my life just like something I'm never supposed to focus on? No. When you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you will have a healthy relationship with other people. Codependency is one of the few things that awareness of the health of what you're thinking about, what you're desiring, what you're pursuing, it's the cure. Independence is the first cure. You have to learn how to be independent, how to trust yourself, how to stand on your own 2 feet, knowing you never need another person. You just need you. You need to have a full understanding of yourself. But then going forward, relationships are not precluded at all, as long as you've cleared all the energy, you've released all the attachments, which really just does mean staying in that hermit energy, that look and soul within, being by yourself to know yourself energy. Once you've cleared all those attachments, you can have relationships. You just have to be aware that the bulk of your energy may have been codependent, and so you have to practice awareness around it. Questioning yourself, it's like, have you been with somebody for 3 months and you're planning how you're going to live together forever? You can't know somebody in that short of a time. And people are always on their best behavior at first. Always just view that part as having fun, and we'll see where this is going. And it really, honest to goodness, is that form of awareness. Is that I don't have relationships and then think that I know where they're going, and that's the point of having them. I have them, and what they bring to me, I learn from. Here and now. Now listen, I do not read these. I don't read these. I'm a keyword reader. So here and now, that's a present energy. If you want to invest in the true love is already a part of your life, please keep in mind you have a codependency warning here and here. And so to remember that part. You can have a relationship with somebody that you had a codependent dynamic with, but it can be very difficult because it's an unbalanced relationship at the start of it. And balance requires effort on both sides. So just be a little bit aware of that. Let's get another card on that one, because like I said, I'm a keyword reader. These things actually kind of speak to me in sentences. I just haven't found the latter part of that to have a lot of validity. Marriage. This relationship is moving towards sacred union. Soulmate. Your soulmate loves, accepts, and respects you. And then wait, the timing is not quite right. It is possible that you already know the person who is your true love. That does not mean that you have been involved in a relationship with them. It may mean that you met somebody, you never would have thought that they were the person, but they're really the person, and they will come back at the right time. This is also, because this is a card of traditional marriage, despite a difficult energy around connection, you are going to have a person, is what this particular reading is saying. That you will have a committed relationship. That everything is leading towards the energy of a true partnership. But that you kind of had to learn how to accept yourself in the shape and the form that you are, to get to, until you love yourself, it's very difficult for you to believe anybody else really loves you. It's kind of that simple. It really is that simple. Until you know why you love you, then you have a tendency to let people, I don't mean you in an accusation, I mean it in the general sense. People will have a tendency to accept less than they deserve if they don't understand what's lovable about them. And loving ourselves, it comes along with accepting the yeah, man, I have a temper that could burn down a town if you get on the wrong side of it. That doesn't make you a lesser person. It means that you have bigger energies. And you have to practice a lot of understanding. The point is that you're a healer, though, and you have a healer's goddess. The goddess of healing is with you. Ask for healing to be brought to you. And again, examine your relationship to your relationships. And then the timing is not right. That's okay. Know that if you're being asked to spend time with you, figuring you out, it's so that you can have a very strong partnership that remains with you in a way that you used to crave, but that it won't be the point of it ever again. That you'll never again, once you have healed a tendency towards codependency, be like, I want to find my person, I want to find my person, I want to find my person so I can have somebody for me with me for the rest of my life. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it's not the goal, it's not the focus, it's not why you have the relationship. You have the relationship because the relationship's great. And then sometimes a great relationship stays with you for the rest of your life. But it's not part of how you value it. The presupposition, the supposition that it is a permanent lifelong relationship is not what will convey value to it. The quality of the relationship will. Sun, open your heart to the enormous growth ahead. Sun's also healing energy. Angel, your angels are guiding and protecting you on your spiritual journey. Celebrations, you are ready to bring new and exciting things into your life. Now, here's my sense. Most of the people watching this have done that healing work, have walked that road, have spent the time getting to know themselves, getting to know their shadow side, to do their shadow work, to work in conjunction with their darker energies rather than shunning them, treating them as the part of themselves for which they have shame or they're trying to get away. The bulk of people watching this one, you've already done your work. Some of you may have decided, so that means that I've been codependent, it took me a while to heal, I'm not doing that again. You're not doing that again in the way that you used to. Like I said, the relationships in your life won't be about, and now I'll never be alone. It's instead, I really like having you with me because of how you treat me. And this goes where it goes. We're never meant to invest more in a relationship exterior to ourselves than we invest in the relationship to our interior self. So what does that mean? It means that if you're deeply unhappy in a relationship, you don't stay because you're worried about, well, how will I provide for myself? You'll figure it out. You take the chances, you leave behind the people that are not in your best energy. Codependency makes us linger in relationships that are actually holding us back. Our need for security, for that feeling of safety, actually holds us back because we don't live in a secure world. We just don't. It's the world we built. That's not the divine's fault. It's the world we built. And so making your relationships about safety, security, permanence, or the idea of like, you'll be my person forever, has a flaw in the logic of it, in that we live in a very uncertain world in which nothing is truly permanent. We're not even permanent. Don't make that why you value something. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's a beautiful thought to have somebody love you forever, but only if that love is actually of a sustaining and a respectful and a kind variety. You got that your soulmate loves and respects you. And I know I just said, hey, I don't pay any attention to what it says below, but people will because they see it. That is very, very true. If somebody will not prioritize your needs or consider them, then it is better to be without them than to have the security of like, yeah, but I have somebody who will make decisions for me or help me make decisions or will make me feel less alone in a frightening world. There's almost nothing more frightening than being in a long-term relationship and realizing that person doesn't really love or value you. Metal snake, embrace the great transformation. Okay. Wood dog, trust your intuition. And then fire monkey, time to embrace change. Hey, listen, so the trust your intuition thing. When you're still in the codependent energy, there is a spirit attachment on the other side of that. It's very influential. It can make you believe that like somebody who's gone is coming back, as a for instance. And that is part of codependency. When you're standing in your empowerment, in your independent energy, like you reject those messages. Like I wouldn't want that person to come back. They didn't treat me right. That kind of thing. Clear the codependency and you have very strong intuition. You have very strong manifesting energy. Like, you have a very compelling and wise energy when you're through this process. And the bulk of the people who are watching this, you've already done the work. I've got some people here who are like, yeah, never again. Like, yeah, that took a lot to heal from. I kind of don't care any longer. Wait and see. If you have never had a real relationship, a truly healthy partnership, then you really don't know what you're rejecting yet. Wait and see, wait and see. And for the people who are very just like, I just want to find a person, do this work so that your intuition will guide you towards the purposeful journey that will make you cross paths with the person who's truly meant for you. And for people who are in a relationship and watching this, if you've done the work on, like, listen, I know that if a void opened up in the universe tomorrow and swallowed that person, I would be sad, but I would be okay, I would figure it out, then you're fine. If there is a part of you that is just very, very invested in somebody to, like, the life partner thing versus the quality of the partnership, then you just have a little bit of healing to do. Let's get a couple more oracle cards before we get going here. What else do we have to add for pile number 3? Panacea, Isis, it's Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is the Chinese Buddhist goddess of healing. You have the ability to heal. If you've got that, because that looked like somebody with a really serious, like, sort of temper. Very destructive things, everything contains its opposite. You're being asked to open to this. I was holding up the bottom. That's the back of the deck, which is pay attention. You're being asked to pay extra close attention to the signs you're being given, both the subtle ones and the ones that can't be missed. These signs will help you see how to best move forward in order to live your best life. That's what we're talking about. That's what this healing goddess is trying to help you do. Live your best life. Abundance. You're being asked to open to abundance, to believe that you're deserving of it, and to believe that it will flow to you. This is the first important step towards receiving it. Breathe deeply and trust that it's on its way. Can we talk a little tiny bit about how deserving does actually rely on self-acceptance? Which the very first thing that came through in that pile is, why do I have to be like this? Why can't I just be like other people? First of all, the other people are not really how you think they are. Like, everybody's a little bit of a mess underneath the surface. But secondly, you're very purposely made. And if it's gotten in your way, it's just because you had more power than you knew how to control. And then there is that tendency to linger in the wrong relationships. And that can be friendships too. It's not just a romantic concept. Check in. When you think about whatever this is you're pondering, take a moment to check in with how you feel about it. Do you feel lighter or heavier, excited or filled with dread? Pay attention to your inner guidance. It's always so helpful. The only proviso I have on that is if you are still very, very focused on relationships, which romance is beautiful. My gosh, who doesn't get drawn towards it? But know that it's only part of your life. That is the area that, because it taps into our hopes and our dreams, is more likely to bring us less grounded answers. Because it exists in this thing that we envision, this world of the kind of fairy tale world where we all want this beautiful, beautiful love. Not a thing wrong with it, but it's not the best area for your intuition for what you're guided towards. That exists to help you towards your healing path, towards your purposeful path. You will sometimes really know on something, but when you're in a healthy energy in a personal relationship, you won't be that invested. You just won't be that invested. We're going to take one more on this. And the only reason I'm like going into that was there were 2 codependency markers, and like it's just something to be aware of. That like you can get a personal reading for love, but if you've had a codependent issue, be a little careful with pick-a cards, because they go into an obsessive or a compulsive energy very easily, and codependency is part of a compulsion. And it's not a weakness, it's just people who can compel reality, people who can manifest, that is compelling reality, sometimes until they're healed, that ability to compel turns in on them and it causes compulsion or need or habitual behaviors. You're being asked to expand. You're being asked to expand. You live in a huge world with endless possibilities, and staying safe in the known is no longer working for you. It's time to make your world just a little bit bigger. It's time to imagine the possibilities and go for them. Please accept that your best life might be in something that you have never envisioned. Be open to it, ask for the signs of it, and invite a healing goddess into your life. The best way to do that is in a body of water, a bathtub, or a shower counts. But if you can get out into nature and be by a flowing, it can even be a fountain, flowing water is where you are most likely to be able to invoke a spirit or a goddess of healing to bring you the lessons that you need to help clear them out of the way, to help you achieve self-understanding. Self-understanding is one of the biggest building blocks in self-love, because when you understand yourself, you don't shame yourself for the things you don't like about yourself as much. You learn to care for it compassionately and to understand it's just a part of you that you're working with. No less or more valuable than the parts of yourself that you really like. It's just a part of you that needs a different kind of care, okay? And that's what that healing goddess is trying to direct you towards. That was your reading. Take care. Be well.